Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de, well, a simple reaction to a simple statistic that apparently the rich people in the US of A own the vast majority of stocks. And whether that's bad or good or should you care? Simple question, right? I'll give you a simple answer because that's what life is like mostly. Honestly, not that complicated, okay? Hey, Zembuk here. I do almost nothing every day, and somehow I earn a six-figure income. Okay, just me, not my household, because my wifey still has a regular job. With her, we're still well in the top, I don't know, let's call it 5% of the US, to be safe. But it's up there. But forget about her for a moment. She could decide she doesn't like me anymore at any given moment, and that would make me very sad. But I'm talking about right now just me sitting here, making really awfully produced, crappy YouTube clips, and I make easily into the six figures. Obviously not from YouTube, but through assets. And guess what? That's the thing that leads into the article that I'll link below that I'd like to comment on, right? Apparently the richest Americans owns the vast majority of stocks. So, like, how do you feel about it? Are they cheating the system? Should they share? What's going on here? How dare they? So let's break it down into several very easily digestible points. Point number one, literally everyone, anyone at all can own stocks, right? So yeah, why is it so that the top 10% own almost 90% of the stocks? Well, probably because those guys know something that you don't, right? The secrets of the rich. Yeah, okay, I guess it's not that much of a secret if a really pathetic news outlet like CNBC is telling you this, right? It cannot be real news, and I'd agree with that. It's not real news. The secret to riches is simple. Own assets. You know, stuff that makes you money in the long run, and stocks is a huge part of that. That's why people with actual money own stocks. And yet, these days, the barrier to entry has never, ever been lower. So there's no reason why the rest of us, right, the vast majority of the population, 89%, can't own a lot more stocks. As in, seriously, a lot more. The question you have to ask yourself is very simple. Do you believe that the American economy as a whole will do better in the next decade or next 5 decades or next 10 decades than now? Or do you think it'll do worse? Remember, this question isn't about your own economic prospect, right? Because sure, maybe you personally have a dead-end job or a crappy boss. But here we're talking about the companies that you love to hate. Like, do you think Coca-Cola will do better? Or Disney? Or Visa? Or Apple? All the large companies that seem invincible in an everyday brand recognition, do you think they'll suddenly lose their appeal? If yes, then sure, hide your money under your mattress, right? And hope that there's no fire. If not, then dive on ahead into a simple S&P 500 index fund and you'll be riding along the market like the top 10%. Point number two, also very simple. When people say that they own stocks, most people are very confused as to what they actually mean. Most people think, oh, do I have to pick a good company to buy into? Do I have to, actually make that choice? Please stop. Full stop. Full sentence stop. You should not be picking any companies whatsoever. Let me be clear. You may be a genius, maybe one of those once-in-a-generation genius who can outdo Warren Buffett on single stock picks, and you may even have succeeded in some limited time frame, let's say within a year or 3 or 5, and you may say to yourself, why wouldn't I pick stocks? I've done so much better than the market in the last 5 years. Right, to which I say, sure, you might have, but the chances that you can keep that up for 50 years is basically non-existent, okay? And even then, I give the chance that one of you, almost certainly not one of the few subscribers that I have, will turn out to be the genius that's so far unproven out of the next entire century is abysmally low. So could you pick enough of a handful of stocks that'll beat the market? Sure, absolutely. But that's pretty much as likely as me being hit by lightning 3 times in a row, I don't know, in the same city, okay? So yeah, no, Never gonna happen, statistically speaking. Stop it. Don't pick your own singular stocks. Now, finally, point number 3. For the youth of the world, you might be like, who cares about stocks? What about crypto? That's got way better returns than stocks, right? Hey, you know what? I agree. Buy crypto to your heart's content, so long as it's the amount that you can afford to lose, right? The problem with crypto is, well, they don't actually generate any income compared to boring old, let's say, dividends leaking out of stocks, right? Now, you might say, sure, but you can sell crypto for capital gains just like you'd sell shares of stocks that give no dividends, such as Tesla or Amazon. That is absolutely true, but if you're a real crypto believer and think that the limited Bitcoin supply or in the world or whatever will somehow supplant USD as a currency in the near future, then why would you ever sell any of your coins, right, when it could be worth much, much more in the future? So I guess that's the real catch-22, isn't it? I'm not saying that stocks are the only asset that you can own. Feel free to add in crypto if that's what you actually understand. P.S. I want to make sure to say that I don't have any crypto personally, and I don't really understand it. And in this instance, still, I would probably want to get some in the near future as a hedge, despite the fact that I know that I don't understand crypto very well, right? But unless you're investing the amount that you can afford to lose, investing in assets as volatile as crypto is simply like investing in stocks, but with more risk. That's all. Same idea. Different risk profile, right? At the end of the day, you have to decide your risk tolerance, right? All I've read is some stats that says most people who don't have a lot of money aren't invested in the most common type of assets. Now, maybe CNBC is just off their rockers and all the regular people simply own or buy crypto instead, right? Possible, but very unlikely. I know this because most people are just very, very risk averse, right? As in, they actually think that the stock market is very risky, right? If you think stocks are risky, I don't know what the heck you would think about crypto, right? The argument for it would seem completely nonsensical, right? After all, I'm going to repeat this again. Putting money in the stock market is comparatively easier to understand because you're investing in the American economy, right? Do you think this country is going down the drain within the next 50 years or so? If not, then the stock market is as good of a bet as any if you buy diversified index funds, right? Compare that to the general gist of crypto. What are you betting on in terms of crypto? The future, right? It's very vague, right? A future that's perhaps stateless and anonymous? Guess who doesn't have nuclear weapons to back up their claim? Would be, the stateless and the anonymous, right? Nobodies who think crypto is all the rage. Anyway, don't listen to me, unless you want to be regular rich, obviously. I'll note it's definitely possible for you to not listen to me and actually be fabulously rich. But only if you had a time machine and invested speculatively in crypto maybe like a decade ago, right? So comment below if you disagree, and like and subscribe. Or whatever. Honestly, I don't care either way. I'm already rich. So, cheers. I'll approach it.